I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 106, How to Co-Regulate. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hi, friends. I hope that you are doing well. I'm happy to be here for another week. I am currently just enjoying a view out my window of snow. It's snowing right now. It's very beautiful. It's cold, very cold. I live in Montana, and it's chilly, but it's beautiful. I'm really excited for this episode today. I hope that you find it very useful as always. So I will go ahead and jump in. I want you to think about someone in your life that you feel really good around. It can be someone from the present. It can be somebody from the past, but somebody where when you think about them, you like how you feel when you're around them. You like who you are when you're around them. I for sure have a few friends that are like this for me. I'm thinking of them right now that are that person for me, where when I'm around them, I just feel good. I feel special. I feel seen. Who do you feel like that around? My husband is often that person for me too, where I just feel good around him. Now, if you think of these people, I hope that you can think of at least one person. You are likely co-regulating with this person. Okay. And today we're going to talk all about co-regulating and what it means and what that looks like for you today. All right. Now I want you to think about somebody that you can be around that has an opposite effect. You might feel anxious around this person. You might feel worried. You might feel really bad about yourself. You might feel self-conscious or negative. Can you think of somebody like that? Maya Angelou said, people won't remember what you said. They won't remember what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. So today is all about co-regulating. And Maya Angelou's quote there perfectly describes what I am talking about today. I really hope that you come away from this episode with some understanding of how to grow your capacity to help others regulate and how to ask for what you need in this regard. As I talk to you in this episode, I want you to listen for how you were taught to regulate your emotions as a child and how that has affected your emotions as an adult, okay? As you're thinking about different people in your life and how you feel around them, you may notice it is not necessarily the words they're saying. It might be, but it might not be the words they're saying or the things that they're doing. There's something deeper. This is what's going on here, okay? Your nervous system is picking something up from their nervous system. If they are calm, it can settle your nerves. If they are really anxious, you can pick up that anxiety. I felt this so much in my first marriage. My first husband was a pretty intense guy. He worried a lot. He was just intense, like most of the time. He had this intensity to get the job done. He was very accomplished. He got a lot done. But it was often really stressful for me to be around him because he was in this heightened nervous system state so much of the time that I felt amped up a lot being around him and often fed off of his mood. I didn't know how to regulate my own emotions. And so I could be having the best day with my kids at home. And then when he came home, it's like, what kind of mood is he in? And he was often in this kind of hyped up mood and intense mood and anxious. And it was not real pleasant. It was kind of difficult. And I would pick up on that. And that would then become my energy. Okay. So what exactly is co-regulating? It's not that. Okay. That is something else that we're going to talk about. Co-regulating is when the systematically oscillating emotions that are coupled between partners are dampening over time. Okay, so those are some big words, big explanations. So let me explain what that means. So oscillating emotions, like a fan, okay? Oscillating, kind of moving. They're moving. And one partner is kind of helping the other partner dampen their kind of intense emotions. And the other partner is doing the same for the other. They're helping each other regulate to where it's dampening over time, right? We're lessening the intensity. We're helping each other soothe. Whereas we can have the opposite effect on each other and amp up each other's emotions. That was the situation I was in often in my first marriage. And that is called co-dysregulation. Okay. Co-dysregulation. So there's co-regulating and then there's co-dysregulating. Okay. It's kind of like function and dysfunction, right? One serves to move things forward. One serves to kind of, at the best, hold things still. At worst, pull things back. Okay. As children, we have to learn to co-regulate first before we can regulate ourselves, especially before the age of 7. Okay. Many of us, though, did not grow up in homes where our parents were regulated themselves. And so we didn't learn how to do this. We didn't learn how to regulate ourselves. We picked up on the energy, the nervous system energy that our parents had. And that kind of became our energy until we learned to do something different. So if you grew up with kind of a chaotic nervous system home base, you probably picked that up and didn't learn how to regulate yourself, how to get yourself back down. And maybe carrying some of that with you now, may have learned some things. It is healable. Okay. I'm just saying these things so that you understand what might be going on with you. Okay. So a couple examples. One, I grew up with some chaos. Okay. I've mentioned before, my dad was killed in a plane crash when I was 2 days old. So you can imagine that my mother's nervous system was probably not great, right? Her husband died. He went out one day on a flight and he didn't come home. And she had 3 children. I was the 3rd child. The oldest kid was not even 4 yet, my brother. My sister was not even 2. And I was 2 days old and premature to boot. My mom probably had some stuff going on. And then she got remarried when I was 2 to a man who had some untreated mental illness, and he was abusive and all kinds of issues. And she got divorced when I was 5. Okay, so she was dealing with all of that. And then she got remarried, and it was pretty dysfunctional for quite a while. So for me, I grew up in a space that was pretty chaotic emotionally, nervous system wise. Okay, there was a lot of co-dysregulation. Now, my daughter, Finley, who just turned 1, it's interesting. For those of you who have been around children, this is what I mean about them learning how to regulate by watching us, okay? Here's an example from yesterday. So we have lots of stairs in our home, and one of the set of stairs they're kind of wider and they're carpeted, and she can get up and down really easily. And so we have not put a gate at the top of those stairs. They're wide. If she took a tumble, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And she knows how to get up and down. Other stairs that are wood that would, she'd really get hurt. They're steeper. We have gates on. But for this one set, we decided not to. Well, yesterday she was doing her thing, scooting on her belly down the stairs, and she misstepped with her foot and tumbled about 2 stairs. And she just laid there flat and like looked at me with this look of, should I be scared? Should I be worried? Is something wrong? And I just thought, I need to be calm. And I just was like, oh, you okay, Finn? Look at you, just really didn't make it a big deal. And then she looked to my husband, and he just kind of had the same response. And then she laid there, and then she got up and went the rest of the way down, right? Like she wasn't hurt. And she just, I think it startled her a little bit, but she was waiting for our response before she could regulate herself. That's the way it's supposed to be. And so she's learning this kind of thought that they think I'm okay, so I'm okay. And then the time will come, hopefully, right, that she will grow in her own self-sufficiency to know when she's okay without cues from mom and dad. So something that I see in my coaching is that often as adults, when we are trying to heal this, when we're trying to figure out how to stop being dependent on others to kind of manage how we feel, going from trying to move out of a more codependent model to a more independent model, what we often do is we swing this balance from being kind of codependent to very independent. Now, that doesn't sound terrible, right? But I want to talk a little bit about some of the dangers of this, okay? So as you know, codependency means that we are very in tune with somebody else's feelings and we're kind of responding to their feelings rather than really being our own separate person. We're kind of jumping when they say jump, right? Very in this reactive space, like not particularly safe, not feeling safe, not feeling like we can stand on our own feet. We're very dependent on them to kind of tell us how we're doing, right? So if there's a problem in the relationship, if there's a problem, we're going to maybe panic. We're going to maybe feel like I'm not okay because they're not okay. And so we try to hurry and fix things so that they will be okay, so we can feel okay. But it's not coming from yourself. It's an outside in approach, okay? So the spectrum swing goes to this independent place where it's like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. They can take care of themselves, okay? Or I don't need anyone. I am fiercely independent. I don't need anyone. I'm fine. Or if I just keep my wall up and just manage my own thoughts and feelings, I can prevent getting hurt. Now, this may feel really empowering at first. It might feel great. It might feel so good to know that you can count on yourself, that you can manage yourself, that you can count on yourself to feel the way you want to feel. But what if there's something even better than this? Co-regulating is a really beautiful thing. It's beautiful. It is when we strengthen our relationships by first working on being able to keep ourselves regulated so that we can show up for others. It's learning how to manage our own nervous systems, to keep ourselves calm, to know how to calm ourselves down, to keep ourselves out of fight or flight so we can help others regulate, okay? Humans are pack animals. We are wired to be together. We are not wired to be totally self-sufficient, to swing to that other spectrum of being completely independent. I don't need anybody. I got me, right? We're wired to need people. We're wired to be together. All right, let me give you an example. If you're feeling triggered or activated, if your nervous system feels activated by something having to do with infidelity with your spouse or partner, you may want to hunker down, hide, or attack. Co-regulating would look like going to your spouse and telling them what you're experiencing, okay? Now, if they are in a space of feeling defensive or not wanting to help, I don't recommend going to them because it might amp up your response. It might have the opposite effect, okay? But go to another safe person. You can share what you're experiencing and just ask them to sit with you. If your partner can do this, you can ask them just to hold you, just to physically hold you. Over time, it will be easier to do this for yourself, okay, when you get amped up. Sometimes we think that we want them to say certain things to us, but I have found that when our nervous systems are really highly activated, there really are no words that can make it better. We are just seeking safety. We just want to feel safe. We want to know that we're okay. So somebody else being able to manage their own nervous systems and then really feeling calm inside, the calm presence of somebody else can help tremendously with this, especially after repairing infidelity, okay? After infidelity, trying to repair. If you are separated from your partner, who else can you lean on? Who else can sit with you? Okay. And this is not somebody who can just give you lip service, give you the right words, but to actually share their calm and presence with you, their presence. Do you know anybody that can share this with you? As a coach, this is part of my job. I am much less effective as a coach if I show up to calls anxious. I may say the right words, but people can pick up on my underlying energy, okay? My clients rely on me to be calm and centered and able to handle whatever emotions they show up with to the call. So finding a good therapist or coach can really help you co-regulate, okay? In my Noah 90 group, this is something I have seen demonstrated, and it is something beautiful to behold, I tell you. Everyone on the call is so loving and energetically giving so much love to each other, so much energy and love and just attention and intention. So if one person on the call is getting coaching and feeling really activated, there's a whole army of people on the call that are helping them regulate. Isn't that amazing? Just energetically, by being there, by being focused, by being present. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And on the flip side, I can tell you that if I have something going on personally in my life and I'm on a call and I'm feeling triggered or feeling activated in some way, I am not nearly as effective as a coach. And so it's my job to learn how to regulate myself or to bring in somebody else like my husband or somebody that I trust to help me co-regulate so I can be ready to go on my calls. Okay. Now, if you are staying in your relationship or trying to, I want you to spend some time thinking about how you can help each other co-regulate. You may both be really amped up. Okay. They might feel really terrible about themselves a lot of the time. They might feel really heavy with shame. I want you to notice this, and I want you to trust that it's in your best interest to try to understand what is happening for him, because it will be far more meaningful and healing for you if he can show up for you in an untriggered place. Okay. So I want you to pay attention to what's going on with him and notice how you respond when he is really heightened. And notice how you respond when he is not heightened, when he can just be there, he or she, okay? When they can just be there for you in a more calm, centered place. I want you to pay attention to that. This is where marriages can be deeply healed even after there is the breach of trust of infidelity. This is where deep healing that is long-lasting happens, okay? Back to our childhood. Long before marriage, long before our partner's infidelity, many of us learn not to trust. We learn not to bear it all. We learn to hold back, to keep some walls up. This can be healed, okay? And sometimes it is after infidelity that we are in a place where we are receptive to this deep healing. It's like, because we're so hurt, like the hurt is so raw, that's like the only way I'm going to get through this is if I deeply heal. And part of deeply healing is deeply healing some of the wounds that were there long before the infidelity. Okay. So what this looks like in real time is moving towards each other instead of away when feeling activated, leaning into trust, asking each other what you need, telling each other what you need. Hey, I need this from you right now. Okay. Experiment with strategies to help yourself calm down with your partner involved. Okay. So if you're feeling activated, and maybe they are too, rather than bailing, rather than leaving and both being miserable, go for a hike, go for a walk, partner up, go do something together, move your body, dance, sing, play, whatever. Okay, do something to shift the energy, the activated energy. And if you do it together, you're kind of both helping each other co-regulate, okay? Be with others who can hold space for you, not people who are going to dive in and try to fix it, not people who are going to tell you what to do, okay? We've all got plenty of those people in our life. That's not what this is about. I want you to know that it's okay for you to want this. It's okay for you to want to be with a partner who can co-regulate with you, okay? In our culture of extreme independence, we really are missing a beautiful thing, which is helping each other at a deep level, helping others feel our presence, our love for them, our confidence in them, okay? Even when you're the one who's been betrayed, you can learn how to manage your own nervous system so that you can help your spouse co-regulate when they are in a shame storm, when they are feeling like the biggest loser, okay? Or if you are leaving or if you have been left, if your partner left, you can bring in people who can give this to you. I challenge you to find at least one person who can be that for you, who can help you with this space. Okay. I hope that you found this helpful. I know that for me, it made me think about how I parent even, especially that now that I'm starting all over again, right? With this new little person, it's making me evaluate. I know for sure my older kids saw an anxious mom a lot of the time when their dad was around. And, I'm not trying to sound like a victim at all. I am showing you what was true for me, which was that it was pretty codependent and I didn't know how to self-regulate. I didn't know how. And as our marriage progressed, I learned how more to be able to get to the point where I was able to leave the marriage, but it took a lot. It was really, really hard for me. And so some of this I'm getting better at today, right now. Okay. So I understand that it might feel challenging. It might feel very vulnerable. And I also just want to make sure, I'm not painting myself as a victim. It's more, I understand the systems and patterns that we get into. Okay. So go practice co-regulating, practice what works, practice trying different things that help your nervous system settle down, help somebody else's nervous system settle down, help your children, help them to know that you're safe, that you're not getting activated because they're activated, right? That you can be calm, that you can be the calm presence so they can learn how to settle themselves. What a gift, right? What a gift. All right. Thank you, my beautiful friends. I will see you again in a little while, a couple weeks. You'll hear from me again. I hope that you have wonderful holidays. I hope that for those of you who are struggling, many of you are that are listening, I hope that you know that there's somebody in Montana who loves you, who thinks about you all the time, who thinks about how I can help, and most of all, who feels such hope for you so much of the time that you're going to be okay, that you're going to find out who you are in this process. And maybe there was no other way for you to learn it. There might not have been, to really know your strength, your wisdom, your courage, your grit, all of the things that make you you. Okay. Just keep going. And I will see you next time. If you want to find out how to work with me, I'm going to be opening doors to my NOAA 90 program, probably late January is what I'm looking at. You can get on my wait list at andreagiles.com. There's a link there to get on my wait list. And I look forward to talking with you again soon. All right, bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at andreagiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's andreagiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.